So last week, we made it through the regular season, Ben.
I'm very proud of us. I don't know how I could do it without you, though.
Fucking did. Well, being it's my show, fucking A right.
Wait, I thought it was our show.
I'm sorry. Nick's picks.
You know what? No, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Nope. I'm done.
Do we have to rename? Do we have to rename this next year? Nick and Ben's
Maybe.
picks. It just doesn't roll right. What is going on, guys? Week 18, the first time in Nick's Picks history we've reached a week 18, and I am joined once again by Ben. Ben, as you could tell, I'm in a different setup. Everything's going great. Don't pull an Antonio Brown on me and just leave halfway through this thing, but I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to be the first one to make the joke. How you feeling, Ben? Week 18.
I am not. I may be crazy, but I'm not clinically insane. And I know we've said this before. I swear to God, that hit with Vontaze Burfict, like that was like a nexus point. Like
jokes aside, mental health is a real thing, and if that's really something that he's going through, and that's why, cool, whatever. I feel for him. I hope he gets better. But from what I'm hearing, he was pissed off about not getting, or they're apparently were keeping him away from his incentive bonuses. But
see, I heard that he said that he was hurt and he didn't want to go in, and then Bruce Arians said to go in, and then when Antonio said no, I'm not going in, and Bruce Arians just said, okay, well then you can just leave. And I guess he took it literal and just
left. Don't know. I don't know the situation, but it made for some good memes. So that's all we're here for here at Nick's Picks. But guys, it is week 18. Why am I blurring? I have a new camera and I'm already blurring. Guys, it is week 18 of the regular season, the added week of the new NFL season, and there are a lot of playoff implications on the line this week. Before we get into all of that, last week, me and Ben had pretty even weeks. Ben did catch up by 1 point. Nothing too crazy about like our picks or anything like that. I'm sure there's a few scenarios where we almost missed getting the score correct or whatever, but the current score is 192 to 188. Ben is currently behind by 4 points. Like I said, he did catch up one last week, but Ben, you're still losing. That's all I have to say to you. You're still losing.
Just wait. Patience is a virtue. That's all I gotta say.
So 2 things that I want to make clear before we get into Nick's picks this week. We are not doing an upset of the week or a traditional upset of the week. I'm also not picking the Giants game this week. Ben will be picking the Falcons game. Basically, what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that all of the playoff implication games got put into this episode, because that was the whole point of the new foundation this season, was that we would only be talking about major games and not be talking about, the games that just don't matter. So this week, the Giants game doesn't fucking matter. And neither me or Ben really felt like picking an upset this week. So only the playoff implications are in today. Speaking of playoff implications, let's run through those real quick and how week 18 is going to shape out. Currently in the AFC, three of the 4 divisions have been clinched. The AFC North belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals. The AFC West belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. And the AFC South belongs to the Tennessee Titans. Me and Ben will both get points for the Chiefs and Titans. Neither of us picked the Bengals. East is still up for grabs between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. We'll obviously get to that later. And then the rest of the wild card spots is up for grabs between numerous amounts of teams. The Baltimore Ravens, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are all fighting for 2 of those 3 wild card spots, because the third one will be going to the loser of the AFC East between the Bills and the Patriots. On the NFC side, 3 of the 4 divisions also have been clinched. That is the NFC North, East, and South, by the Packers, Cowboys, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all clinching their divisions. 3 playoff spots have been confirmed, obviously one of which will be claiming the West between the Cardinals and the Rams. But the Cardinals, Rams, and Eagles have all clinched playoff berths, so there is 1 wild card spot that will be left available for the NFC side, and that will be fought over between the New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. Again, We'll get to that. But that was a fucking mouthful, Ben. A lot of playoff implications on the line. Looking back at like the preseason picks and like what we did in the preseason, how are you feeling?
I will say just a quick aside to last week with Atlanta. I knew they were gonna lose, but like, can we seriously just get rid of these taunting penalties? Like, it honestly irks me.
Taunting,
It just upsets me that like
taunting needs to be addressed this offseason,
yeah.
and ties need to be addressed this offseason. I've been
Oh
saying
yeah,
this for
100%.
fucking years, but the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers are
Have a
really only
chance.
in this because of that tie pisses me off. So,
I mean, conversely, they could also lose because of that tie.
true. Last thing before we get into the picks, guys, as you can see, I am in a different location. I have two monitors. If you can tell, I keep looking over at this one too. Streaming is going to get set up, guys. I actually figured out how to do some of the streaming stuff that I wanted to do. There is, one or two little bugs here and there that I got to fix, but including lighting, as you can tell, I'm a little green right now, but we'll get to we'll fix all that little stuff later. For now, we have the two monitors set up. We have everything we need. I can start. There's really no excuses anymore. I can start streaming. We'll get to it next coming weeks. Probably after the season ends, though, honestly. But let's go ahead. Let's get into week 18. It's been too long. It's going to be a long video. I'm sorry, guys. Week 18 of the regular season is here, and I start with my game of the week. Like I said, all of our games are going to have to do with playoff implications. There are only like 2 games this week, 2 or 3 games this week that both teams in the game have playoff implications. So it only makes sense that those games should be in the game of the week. So my game of the week is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, real quick, let me give you the scenario for each team. The Las Vegas Raiders, if they're to win this game, they make the playoffs. It's as simple as that. Same with the Los Angeles Chargers. They win the game, they make the playoffs. A loss in this situation for either team creates some problems. I do believe, just based off looking at what NFL.com says, every playoff implication that I say is based off of NFL.com. So if I'm wrong on anything, blame them. But they don't say anything about a Chargers loss. So I assume if the Chargers lose this game, they are eliminated from the playoffs. If the Raiders lose, they can still get in with an Indy loss and a Pittsburgh loss or tie. So the Raiders still have a chance. The Chargers will not with a loss. I'm looking at these two teams. They've had pretty up and down seasons throughout the most of the season. I think the Raiders started off very hot, had a cold streak right in the middle, and then picked it right back up after they beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. The Chargers, on the other hand, have literally just kind of been doing this all season long. And I've never understood it at all. Herbert, on the other hand, he's that one person that I've been able to trust all season long that he's going to put up numbers, and it's not going to be his fault that the LA Chargers lose. Carr has had an amazing season himself, but if I'm looking at both of these two teams, in my personal opinion, and that's all this is right now is an opinion, in my opinion, the Chargers deserve the playoff spot more. I think, for me, it has to do with the roster. I feel like the Chargers roster, we went into the season expecting the Chargers to make the playoffs. Yes, they should have probably had an easier time than what they had, but we both expected the Chargers to make the playoffs. The Raiders, on the other hand, I didn't quite expect them to make the playoffs. So to most people, you would hear that and be like, well, then the Chargers deserve it, or the Raiders deserve it more because, you didn't expect it. Well, fair, but to me, the Chargers are the better team. So 30-27, I do have the Chargers beating the Las Vegas Raiders and making the playoffs. And now that doesn't mean that the Raiders don't make the playoffs. Like I said, the Colts could lose to the Jaguars and Pittsburgh could lose to Baltimore, and the Raiders find their way in the playoffs. I don't see that happening, but it was a good season altogether by the Raiders. I think it ends here.
I still think the funniest thing is that if the Jacksonville Jaguars upset the Colts, that a tie on Sunday night,
a tie from the Raiders and the Chargers both teams would get in. So as Ben was saying beforehand, this is a Sunday night game, by the way, between the Raiders and Chargers. Yeah. If the Colts were to lose during the day on Sunday, do both teams just go to each other before the game and be like, do I just tie so we just both get in? I doubt
Or like
that wouldn't happen. A
I would
conversation like
hate
that shouldn't
for-
happen. But
yes. All right, and my game of the week is going to the whoever is the starter for the Ravens and the old fart that is Ben Roethlisberger. I'm talking, of course, about the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, an AFC North showdown that, honestly, I don't have my hopes for this one. I mean, I think that both these teams, like I thought Baltimore would be about where they were. They're kind of where I expect them to be. Pittsburgh, honestly, they're just led by TJ Watt at this point. Like, I'll get to him in my 2 point, but he's the main reason that they're in any way, shape, or form relevant. But it ends today. It ends week 18. Hopefully, if my prediction is right, I have the Ravens winning this one 24-21 over Pittsburgh. Ben, you just gotta hang it up, man. Like, I know he probably will. He basically made it that he is hanging it up this season, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I don't know who's starting. I don't know if it's Huntley. I don't even know who's starting for the Ravens, but I trust him a little bit more than Pittsburgh in this one. So again, 24-21, I have the Ravens.
We started Nick's picks the season after Eli Manning retired, so I didn't get to give my Nick's picks heartfelt goodbye to Eli Manning. We did say something for Phil Rivers when it was his final games in the Indianapolis Colts uniform. I do have to say, between the three of them, Ben Roethlisberger was my least favorite. But to the fact that he went 18 seasons in the NFL?
Yeah.
And he never had a losing record, and he won't this season because they're 8-7. That's incredible. That's hats off to him. He's a Hall of Famer, deserves to be in it. Great career. You don't deserve to make the playoffs, so I'm sorry. So like I said, we are not doing an upset pick this week. We will call this one the playoff implication pick, as if all of these aren't playoff implications picks. But the game that I chose to talk about that has playoff implication is the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Shocker, Nick's talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Look, I have had high hopes for them all season long, and they literally were my golden child all season for my preseason picks. They were that one team that if I looked back at those preseason picks, I could point at it and be like, I was fucking right about that one. And then neither of us, nobody knows what happened. I don't think anybody can sit here and tell me what happened to the Arizona Cardinals. All of a sudden, they went from leading the West, owning the West,
NFC,
owning the West, owning the NFC, owning the NFL for that matter, to now, I mean, they're in the playoffs. They've already clinched the playoffs and all that. But they need to win this game, and they need the Rams to lose in order to win this division. How they let this happen in these last couple weeks after being 10-2 not that long ago really, really just kind of discourages me. But to me, I don't put the blame on anyone in particular. I put the blame on COVID, really. And you could say that really about any team. Every team has had to deal with the same stuff this season. Every team has had to deal with constant starter change-ups because, just COVID protocols and whatnot. But I do feel like this really did affect the Cardinals this season, and they just really weren't prepared for it. So they go up against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks already well eliminated from the playoffs. They're 6-10. They had a shit season. I don't think they show up to this game with any sort of attempt to win the game at all. So I do think the Arizona Cardinals get a pretty easy win here, 31-20 over the Seattle Seahawks. However, I'm pretty sure the Rams beat the 49ers. So is what it is. I don't think the Cardinals are going to win the West like we said, or like I said previously.
I picked the Rams.
I mean, I picked the Rams too to win the division. Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I'm going to get the points for this, but it'd have been nice. I had a lot of high hopes for the Cardinals. I was right about them for a good majority of the season, and then not 100% sure what happened. But Hopefully they can get it together in the playoffs. Hopefully they can make a run. They don't have D-Hop. I think that's going to hurt them a lot in the playoffs against some of these good teams. But like I did say this. I did say this around the time when they were 10-2. Are they the best team in the NFL? Yes. Are they one of the hottest teams in the NFL? Yes. Are they going to win the Super Bowl?
We'll get there.
Pump the brakes.
All right. And mine is going over to the AFC East. And I'm talking about the Bills. No, the Bills are playing the Jets. Like, no, I'm not.
Patriots are playing Miami. Whoa.
I mean, if Miami, I think if Miami won last week, this would have been a lot more of an implication.
Well, that would have been 8 in a row for them, but yeah.
First off, I want to talk about how I did say the Dolphins were the most underwhelming. They're not a good team, and then they're like, haha, F you, 7 straight. I'm like, okay, that just came out of nowhere. But no matter what, I still got New England win this one, mainly because obviously they're the better team. But the fact that they have a chance at the 1 seed just still surprises me. They put 50. They put a 50 burger on a Florida team. I don't think they're gonna do it against this Florida team. I think Miami's better, and somehow New England struggles in Miami for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I still got New England winning this one. I have them winning 24-21 over the Miami Dolphins. It'd be kind of interesting and funny, honestly, if the Jets beat the Bills and the New England Patriots get the 1 seed. I don't think it's gonna happen. I was close if we had upset picks to pick the Jets. Like, I can't do that. I can't, because like that would just. Although it would be so funny if that happened.
So, like I said, for our picks, I'm not picking the Giants game because the Giants play the Washington football team. Both teams have been eliminated from the playoffs. So who the fuck cares who wins that game? And Ben has the Atlanta Falcons. They go up against the New Orleans Saints. And because the New Orleans Saints do have playoff implications, Ben gets to talk about his team. Well, trust me, I'm not going to go this entire episode without talking about the Giants. First of all, don't think it's possible.
So close.
Don't think it's possible. I'll get to the Giants when it gets to my 2-point conversion. But for the R picks, I'm going to go with a team that I like to follow. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of this team by any means, but their quarterback I am a huge fan of. And to me, he's like the Steph Curry of the NFL. That's Patrick Mahomes. Oh. He is, to me, like... I don't like the Golden State Warriors. I don't hate the Golden State Warriors, but I don't love the Golden State Warriors. But I love watching Steph Curry. There is not a player in the NBA that I would rather watch over Steph Curry. Not a single Miami Heat player that's my team, by the way. Not a single Miami Heat player that I would rather watch over Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the most fun player to watch in the NBA. Absolute fan of Steph Curry. I see the same with Patrick Mahomes. That's why I'm putting him in our pick. They go up against the Denver Broncos, and the playoff implications for this game are for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Denver Broncos, they have already been eliminated from the playoffs, but the Kansas City Chiefs can steal that number 1 seed from the Tennessee Titans if the Tennessee Titans are to lose their game against, I assume they're playing Houston. Yep, they're playing Houston, and Kansas City is to beat Denver. I don't think Tennessee loses to Houston. I think Tennessee is going to manage to hold on to that 1 seed. I don't think Tennessee deserves that 1 seed, I'm going to be completely honest, without Derrick Henry. But the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are coming into week 18 with a chance for that number 1 seed, given that everything that's happened to them this season, that's insane. That's incredible to me. I do think they go on to beat the Denver Broncos in this game 28-17. And in my personal opinion, in the AFC, if you look at all of the teams in the AFC, I know Cincinnati beat them not that long ago, but I don't think there's a team in this AFC that can beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Maybe New England, if coached correctly, because, Bill Belichick is just a god when it comes to that. And maybe Buffalo if Josh Allen decides to turn it on. But beyond them, I don't think anyone beats Kansas City. I think they're finding their way to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. And that's insane.
That's crazy. Honestly, it could have been 4 if it wasn't for that 1 penalty against New England.
Yeah. They should have beat New England that year.
I mean, even maybe you could just say 4th straight AFC championship. You could argue that still. That's fucking wild. All right, mine for the last week. I can talk about Atlanta. The last week, and god damn, it's so good to not talk about this team anymore sometimes. But you know what? I was back and forth. I was thinking, so obviously the playoff implications I had to look it up, for these Saints are if they win and the Niners lose, they're in. And I was thinking, I was like, you know what, Atlanta, they already are eliminated. Maybe they won't win, and maybe they'll be smart and just lose so that they get a good draft pick. You can already see where I'm setting this up. Nope, I can't give any Saints fans any joy. I would have to crucify myself if I picked the Saints to win. So I'm doing it one last go. I am picking the Falcons. That's right, my team.
Respect.
My
Respect.
team. Even though the Rams are my ride or die Super Bowl, this is my ride or die team no matter what, through thick and thin. Through Matt Ryan's $40 million next year, I got the Falcons winning this game 27-24 in Atlanta. Just put the dirty bird, get New Orleans out of the playoffs. They don't need to go in. F the Saints. Let's go, rise all the chants. I am gung ho on it, and me saying all this means they're probably gonna get their ass kicked. But I don't
Probably.
care. Don't care. I'm ride or dying with this team, dude. I know you do with your
Respect.
team.
No, respect.
I got to ride or die. I have
Respect.
to.
All right, the final pick of the week, the wild card picks. Now, one more playoff implication for me to go through this week. That's two more AFC North teams. One of them already eliminated, the Cleveland Browns. They go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have just shocked the fucking world. Honestly, Cincinnati Bengals, they've already clinched the AFC North. They've already clinched the playoffs, obviously, but they can still steal that number one seed as well from the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. In order for the Cincinnati Bengals to get this number one seed, they will need to win, and they will need both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans to lose. Oh, and New England Patriots to lose. So
they need help.
It's probably not going to happen. We're probably going to see the Cincinnati Bengals at a 2 or 3 seed. But I do think that this is a team that can make a run. This is a team that can surprise people. Now, like the Arizona Cardinals, are they a Super Bowl team? No, pump the brakes. I don't think they're there yet. But this is a team that could really, it could knock out a Super Bowl team. And when I say that, this is a team that could upset the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round. Or this is a team like on the other side where it's like the Arizona Cardinals. Are they a Super Bowl team? No, but they could knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs. So it's like, you know, it's one of these things where it's anybody can win on any given Sunday. That being said, the Cleveland Browns cannot win on any given Sunday. They're losing this fucking game 35-13 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, Cleveland is that one team that I can hold my hat on and say, I have always been right about Cleveland. I've always been right about Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's not that hard to be right about Cleveland. You just say they suck and it works out for you. But Baker Mayfield, everyone has all these high hopes for, and now I'm seeing shit to where Baker Mayfield could potentially find himself a new landing spot next season. One of those landing spots I happen to see better not fucking happen.
And what if Gettleman's still your GM? You know that, right?
Better not fucking happen. First of all, actually, no. If Gettleman's still the GM next season, Bill Belichick and Patrick Mahomes could be free agents, and he'd be like, nah, Joe Judge and Daniel Jones are the Giants' way. We're sticking with it. So I don't fucking want to hear that shit. Bengals beat the Browns. The Browns are absolute dog shit. I've said that literally for years. I've said that. And Baker Mayfield, ever since he's been drafted, he's a bust. I've said that from the beginning. I'm hoping people are starting to realize that now. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, I didn't have the highest hopes for Joe Burrow. I didn't think he was going to be like as great as people thought he was going to be. I thought it was going to be more of like a Trevor Lawrence situation where, like, yeah, he's a good quarterback, but he's in Jacksonville. What do you do about that? But no, Joe Burrow has turned the Cincinnati Bengals team around. So I will say I'm very impressed by Joe Burrow. And 35-13, I think he kicks the shit out of Cleveland.
As the resident on and off Baker Mayfield bandwagon, I'm off for good.
I agree.
I can't defend him at this point. All right, so mine is the NFC West showdown between the Niners and the Rams. Now, I'm just gonna get out of the way right now. I think the Rams are the better team. I think they're the more complete team. I got the Rams winning this game 28-24, and even though I have the Niners losing, I still think obviously I think they still have a chance to make the playoffs because if I look, yeah, if New Orleans loses, then they make it in. So even if the Niners lose, they can still make the playoffs. But either way, I think the Rams clinch this win. They get the NFC West title, which I have been saying all year. And like I said with Atlanta my last pick, I'm ride or die with this pick. This is my Super Bowl pick. I gotta go with it. So I still got the Rams again, 28-24 over the Niners. Really, as much else to say outside of that. Stafford's doing great. Cooper Cup, my God, talking about underrated players.
So those are our picks for the week, guys. Here are all the other picks that we didn't talk about, all the games that don't have playoff implications. If there's any of these games that you actually do care about for some fucking reason, go ahead and pause the video now and check that out. But these are our other picks of the week. All right. So I said I can't get through an entire episode without talking about the Giants, right? Right. How about I just shit all over the Giants for like the 8th week in a row? Why not? I hate our offense. I hate everything about it. I hate that no matter who is in at the quarterback position, we're trash. We can't move the ball past the 50-yard line, and if we do, we panic. So there are so many fucking people that need to be fired on this Giants organization. And I went into this season, I went into the preseason picks. I had so much optimism for this season. Do you remember how optimistic I was for this Giants season at the beginning of the season?
You had almost as much, if not equal, optimism as I have with my team, which is fair. It's our teams, you know.
But we got Kenny Galladay in the offseason. Saquon Barkley was coming back off injury. It felt like our O-line was finally healthy for the first time in a couple of years. And our defense last year did phenomenal. This year, they didn't lose anybody. They did phenomenal, honestly, this year. Honestly, the Giants defense, one of the most underrated defenses in the league, just because the whole Giants team sucks. Their defense is still pretty good, so, like, I had the hope. But the Giants, like, this offense is, if they're not 32nd in the league in every category, they should be. Because it's awful. My 2-point conversion is that the Giants are not going to eclipse more than 200 yards of total offense this week against the Washington football team because I'm sick of this shit. If Mike Glennon is going to start,
who is your starter?
It's Mike Glennon. It's going to be Mike Glennon again because they're just done at this point. To be honest, the whole reason I think Mike Glennon is starting is because Joe Judge wants to make it look like he's trying to win, so that he maybe keeps his job. But it's like I said, the Giants aren't getting more than 200 fucking yards this week on offense. And at this fucking point, I'd be lucky if the Giants get 200 yards all next season. Like, fuck. I don't know what to say anymore. It's just frustrating. I almost want to get into a time portal, go back in time, and be a Chiefs fan.
I'll get to my 2-point, but I didn't get a chance to say this to you. I loved the reel you sent me on Instagram with the Falcon. That was so funny.
Which
when
one?
You sent me where it's like don't pick this team, like no, don't do it, and it's like the Falcons. I remember you sent. I was like I saw that when I was at work. I'm like, God damn it. All right, so my 2-point conversion is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is going to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is who is by far their best player. It's not even close, honestly. It's Chase Claypool. I'm just kidding, dude. He needs to learn not to fucking sever a first down when it's a close game. Get him the fuck up out of here. Anyway, no, it is J.J. Watt's brother, T.J. Watt, who is 1 sack away from the NFL record. Now, I could say, oh, he's going to get 1 sack and break it, but that's just not fun. So I am guaranteeing that he's going to break it, and he's going to have at least 3 sacks. He has to get at least 3 sacks and break the record from a former Giant, Michael Strahan, who has been wanting that record been broken for a while because he didn't like how he got it when Favre just kind of went down. No, I got T.J. Watt having at least 3 sacks and just breaking that record, keeping that record for a while, and honestly looking like he will win Defensive Player of the Year. Who I didn't think he would have gotten it, but he's making a good case for it, honestly, at this point.
As a Giants fan, it's kind of cool that Michael Strahan has it, but I agree with him. Like, he didn't get it by actually getting 22 and a half sacks. He really got 21 and a half. And then Brett Favre, yeah. So I
Prefer
get
his
it.
buddy, but like,
Records are made to be broken anyway, so like I get it, but yeah, it's cool. That is it, guys, for the regular season of 2021. We still have a couple episodes to get through: the wild card divisional round, conference championship, an award show, and the Super Bowl special to get through. So still some more videos to come, but with 1 week left in the regular season, and one last time, the score is 192 to 188. I am up 4 on Ben, so he's got some catching up to do when we get to the postseason, but it's not a lot of catching up because 4 points is nothing. There will be a somewhat different point system when we get into the playoffs, but we'll get to that and we'll figure it out, you know, amongst ourselves off camera, but we'll let you guys know come wildcard weekend. But Ben, going into week 18, we got 1 week left. Is there anything you want to say before we head out?
you know what? Maybe Gavin should stay the GM because he'd be the only general manager with any. Wait. I want you to hear this. He would be the only general manager to sign Antonio Brown.
I was about to say I'm about to pull in Antonio Brown and get the fuck out of here because
Which he shouldn't. No one should sign Antonio Brown. Like, again,
no, he's done
mental
in the
health.
NFL. He's done in the NFL.
Mental health, take care of that. But like his antics,
He's done in the NFL.
far outweigh his talent. But that's all I got.
Like I said, guys, streaming is on its way. Don't necessarily know what. I do plan on potentially doing a test stream this weekend just to see if I can figure stuff out or whatnot. It won't be like a legitimate stream. I'm probably just gonna like have it up. You'll just watch me like running through a few things. Maybe play some Lego Star Wars if anything, but like whatever. But guys, I hope you enjoy, and please stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed Nick's picks all the way through 2021, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you guys in the playoffs. Have a great one, guys. Peace.
Deuces.